Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Nisha Charles. Coming up, music takes center stage at the 3rd CARIFORUM EU Business Forum, and the Forestry Division seeks to restore the habitat of Dominica's birds. Details of these and other stories after this.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Tuse, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
Thanks for staying with us. Music will be a major part of the 3rd CARIFORUM EU Business Forum. The forum, which takes place from April 15th to 16th, is being held in Jamaica. The forum, which was conceptualized to generate awareness about the Economic Partnership Agreement, the EPA, will target specific sectors this year, namely agro-processing, creative industries, and services. The EPA coordinator, Yvonette Barron-George, says Dominicans should take advantage of the opportunity to exploit areas of investment within the CARIFORUM states and the EU.
Cultural industries, particularly our music in Dominica, is one of the areas that we believe is export ready. And one of the things we would have liked to see is some of our artists taking advantage of this opportunity and participating in this very important forum.
Some of the presenters at the forum will include major players such as David Sanders and Billy Grant, who will share trends, opportunities, and strategies for market penetration into the European, African, and other markets. It will also give industry insights from both regional and international perspectives. In 2012, Dominican artist Mikel Henderson Del Sol and Daryl Bob participated in the 2nd such forum.
It was an opportunity to expose themselves and Dominica's music to the rest of Europe and the other African and Pacific regions. I think they also got the opportunity to obtain feedback in terms of, how the Europeans feel about our music and whether, in fact, there are opportunities for them to perform in other parts of Europe. Even coming out of that, we have since used one of those artists to do presentations here in Dominica during some of our workshops and to really share the experiences from the visit in Europe. And even when we've had to participate in regional workshops, our artists have been used as presenters to really continue to share the information with the rest of the region in terms of what we need to do to better position ourselves to take advantage of the opportunities that the EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreement, presents.
The EPA coordinator believes that Dominican artists are ready for the opportunities presented to them on the international market.
Even as we circulated the information about this forum, we've had people from Dominica that probably are not the Daryl Bob and the Mikel Hendersons show interest. What we've done is to encourage them to visit the website of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, who is the agency that is coordinating and organizing this event, because it presented an opportunity for them to apply to the agency for possible sponsorship to participate in this event. So, although it's not something that we were involved in directly, I am hoping that the people who showed interest would have applied, and for us to see some more Dominicans being exposed and to be able to really take advantage of the opportunity to understand what they need to do to build their product and to be able to really earn some income out of it.
The Economic Partnership Agreement was signed in 2008 between the European Union and a group of 15 Caribbean states. The agreement seeks to make it easier for people and businesses from the two regions to invest and trade with each other, to help Caribbean economies and create jobs. The forum is being hosted by the Caribbean Export Development Agency. In more news, the Dominica Electricity Services Domelec continues to uphold its corporate responsibility with its annual contribution to the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD. On Monday, the company presented the DAPD with a $3,000 check at the DAPD's 31st Annual General Meeting. Public Relations Officer Adina Bellot-Valentine represented Domelec.
We are very happy to be here as a company. We've been assisting the association for a number of years, and NAFLI doesn't fail to call me. And quite apart from making an annual contribution, you know, whenever the DADP has any other activities, we're always willing and able to assist. A dinner in the dark, walkathon, whatever it is, NAFLI calls and says, how many tickets to send for you? But we're always willing because we recognize the importance of the organization, of the work of the organization within its members, and also affiliate members and the extended family, because once you assist one, I'm sure you know it goes a long way in assisting the entire household. And so we recognize that, and we'll continue to support the organization in whatever way that we can.
You're watching National Focus. More when we come back.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely, and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Welcome back. The Forestry Division is taking a keen interest in the restoration of Dominica's habitats for its birds. The discussion forms part of celebrations for the 2015 Caribbean Endemic Bird Festival. The festival begins on Earth Day, April 22nd, and runs through to May 22nd, which is International Diversity Day. The theme for this year's festival is Restore Habitat, Restore Birds. Marie Jose Edwards is a consultant.
For example, you have rainforest, which is one of the largest habitat for wildlife, generally plants and birds. And then you have the backyard. Birds live in people's backyard. You also have areas like freshwater areas, you know, that are saturated with water. So you know, and then you have grassland, which in Dominica is like savanna. So you have different types of habitats, and some of them are currently under stress, especially the wetlands habitat. And a wetland is a place where water, it's an area that where fresh water is saturated, so there is always a certain amount of water in the area. So for example, we have quite a number of wetlands that are endangered, and as such we need to look at that type of habitat. We have savannas that also have a number of problems, and I think Stephen will speak about them, you know, that impact birds. We have the rainforest, where there's a lot of activities going on that really are not good for the birds in terms of their nesting, in terms of feeding. And so this is why it's important that we are looking at habitat, restoring the habitats of these birds so that the birds can be restored.
Assistant Forest Officer Stephen Durant says the decline in suitable habitat in Dominica is one that we cannot ignore, and persons need to be made aware of the things that pose as a threat to the habitats.
From coastal areas to the summit, you know, more or less the rainforest, if you want, take it up to the rainforest. There are activities like we see a lot of decline in some of the habitats in coastal areas, and it's due to increase in housing needs, you know, and other developments, business developments, and so on. And so we're losing a lot of our habitat where birds, you know, are found, and this is important for us to see here that some of these activities, can really change the birds' habitats in terms of, the activities that we do there, in terms of chemical use, pesticides, and so on.
Marie Jose Edwards says education plays a vital role in restoring the habitats of our endemic birds. A total of 188 birds have been recorded in Dominica. The Ministry of Health is looking to create a greater impact on the health system by paying closer attention to the diabetic foot, with the ultimate goal of decreasing the number of amputations performed annually. Health officials and medical practitioners met on Tuesday, April 14th, for a one-day workshop on diabetic foot care.
This training today, which targets our doctors and nurses from both the medical and surgical wards, brings together experienced, skilled health professionals who will provide information on how to assess and manage foot problems and make critical decisions in diabetics, and all with the goal of saving limbs. The objectives of today's training are to accurately conduct foot assessments and document these assessments, to identify active foot problems that require referrals, meaning further assessment and/or treatment, to be able to identify the foot at high risk of ulceration or amputation, and to develop and implement foot care plans which will decrease the need for amputations.
Dr. Theodore Thomas, a presenter at the workshop, described the diabetic foot as a pandemic in Dominica. The diabetic foot is any foot pathology that results directly from diabetes or its long-term complications. It is developed because of poor blood circulation and loss of sensation due to damage to nerves or blood vessels caused by the disease. Loss of sensation in the foot will prevent the diabetic from feeling an abrasion, blister, or sore. Such injuries can lead to infection. The Pan American Health Organization's Country Program Officer, Shirley Augustine, says although much training has been conducted since 2010, there is still need for greater impact, as there is great cost attached to the disease.
People with diabetes are at high risk for major foot complications, which are often unseen or under-discussed. Those complications can start as small blisters or cuts that are easy to overlook until it is too late. The cost of diabetes is very high, both the direct cost and indirect cost. So you have the cost of treating the patient, but there are other costs. You have the social cost. Think of the person who can no longer work because of an amputation. So there are a lot of costs and high costs to diabetes.
Augustine described as very significant the Center for Disease Control findings that good care of the diabetic foot may decrease amputations by 45 to 85%. She set her expectations for the workshop.
So I am hoping that after this workshop, we will see improved standards of care, that when the diabetic comes to us, we'll not just check their blood glucose and ask them 1 or 2 questions, but we'll also check their feet. Because a lot of us know that diabetics might have all kinds of problems going on with their feet, and they will not be aware of it.
Augustine called on nurses and other healthcare practitioners to be committed to the process so that there will be less amputations in Dominica. She pledged PAHO's commitment to assist in training and to provide what is needed to ensure the standard of care in Dominica is elevated. The workshop was conducted by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization. In other news, over 60 Dacian farmers registered with Dexia's production support program and are now more knowledgeable on how to manage the spread of pests and disease on their farms. The farmers received technical training during an EU-funded workshop at the La Plaine Agricultural Training Center last week. Research assistant at the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, Gregory Linton, says the most common pests and diseases are Dacian beetle and ghost spot. He explained that combating these threats require an integrated approach.
It's an integrated approach. It's not just chemicals and spraying chemicals. There are cultural practices like keeping your fields clean, destroying residues, destroying the breeding grounds of the insect. There is biological methods and practices which you can use. There are also chemicals which you can use to control these beetles.
Coming up next, your fitness tip.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Tuse, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
If motivation is your hang-up, change your workout routine every 14 days. A university study discovered that people who modify their workouts twice a month were more likely to stick to their plan compared to those who changed their regimens whenever they wanted. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website, news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS YouTube Dominica channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, I'm Nisha Charles. Thanks for watching.